Broadcasting live from our Platinum Place studios here at Northridge in Accra. Good evening and welcome to News Tonight here on GHOne Television. I am Tutuwaa Danso. A look at the stories making the headlines this hour. And coming up, Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics demands immediate and decisive action to combat galamsey as the menace threatens healthcare in the country. Also ahead, 4 reported dead after fire guards a wooden residence in Kokompe. Later on Election Hub, aspirants in the 2024 general election bemoan what they call cumbersome procedures in filing nominations. We'll find out why. And on the foreign front, thousands mourn Ugandan Olympian killed by ex-partner. There are details of these and many other stories coming up in this broadcast. Do stay. Thank you very much for your company this evening. This broadcast is streaming live on our social media platforms at GHOne TV. Once again, I am Tutuwaa Danso. We start off on a rather sad development, and 4 people have been reported dead after fire gutted a wooden residence at Kokompe in the Greater Accra region. The fire is reported to have started in the late hours of Friday, the 13th day of September, with firefighters reaching the scene at 11:47 p.m. and finally extinguishing the fire at 12:55 a.m. Saturday. Let's go over the phone lines now and have a conversation with the fire PRO for Deftraco, ADO Nana Sapong. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this evening. What took you so long to extinguish the fire? Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Right, good evening, and thank you very much for your time this evening on the broadcast. So I'm asking that regarding the incident that happened at Deftraco, what took the service so long to douse the fire?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much to your cherished viewers. I think Deftraco Fire Station, we received the distress call around 23:47 hours. Hello?
I'm hearing you, sir.
Yeah. Yes. 28 hours. Within 48 hours, we were at the same day. So upon our arrival, we called FMC in Accra to give us an assistance. So the industrial fire station in Tema came to our aid. So within 00555 hours, we finally extinguished the fire. But we realized that the fire has involved multiple wooden structures. And that place happens to be a dwelling place to the people.
Right. I mean, if I understand you, you had to call for assistance. That gives me the impression that you didn't go there prepared. Is that what really happened?
Yeah, hello?
I'm asking that per your submission, you say that when you got to the fire scene, you had to call for reinforcements from Tema. So it gives me the impression that the service wasn't prepared. Is that what it is?
Oh, we were, you know, Ghana National Fire Service, we have formidable men who are very active when it comes to the work. And it took us less than some few minutes to be able to, put the fire out.
How many minutes do you say it took you?
Yeah, I said, it never took us long to put the fire off.
But according to the story that I read to my viewers, you got there at 11:47 p.m. and doused the fire at 12:55 a.m. That's over an hour. So what do you mean by
No. Fire was under control 0031 hours. 0031 hours. The fire was under control 0031 hours. So finally, everything was extinguished. Those pockets of fires was finally extinguished around 0055 hours.
Okay. Now we understand that several structures were gutted. When you got there, per your assessments, were these structures strong enough, or they were just weak structures piled up on the Deaf Charcoal stretch?
Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Yes. To which one, please?
Yeah. Hello.
Mr. Sabo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
What I'm asking is that when you got there, we understand that fire had gutted several of the wooden structures there. So I want to find out from you, per your assessments, were these structures strong enough, or they were just plywood structures mounted on the Deaf Charcoal stretch?
When we got there, we assessed the situation and asked the people if there are people inside. Most of them were outside. But to them, they never knew people were inside. Looking at the time. So it was after we extinguished the fire,
I want to understand
we realized that there were 4 casualties.
Okay, they didn't know people were inside as of 11:47. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it was after we finished, we had done extinguishing the fire before we were able to detect those 4 people.
That's quite interesting. But do we know if the families of these 4 people have been able to identify the bodies?
Yeah. Your line seems not good.
I'm asking if if the family has been able to identify the bodies of the deceased.
Oh yes. Their bodies have been conveyed to the police hospital. The police hospital in Accra.
Okay.
And yes, and we had contact with their parents.
Okay. Finally, before I let you go,
yes.
do we know the cause of the fire?
It's still under investigation.
Okay.
So we are collaborating with the Ghana Police Service to do the investigation.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time this evening. I've been speaking to ADOT Safo of Deaf Charcoal Fire Service. Away from that development, President Nana Akufo-Addo has formed a 5-member ministerial ad hoc committee to assess the government's ongoing efforts to combat illegal mining in the country. The committee is tasked with the responsibility of ensuring the effectiveness of the measures implemented to address the environmental damage caused by illegal miners in the country are effective. Now, this comes on the back of several calls from civil society organizations for the ban on illegal mining. The committee, which is led by the Minister for National Security, Albert Kandapa, will assess the current state strategies and policies aimed at halting galamsey activities and necessary recommendation to reform and strengthen government's efforts. Now, the week has been a very busy one as various groups have been on an offensive demanding action from the government to deal with the activities of illegal miners. Let's first hear from the Traders Union Congress.
That organized labor would urgently embark on series of demonstrations and a nationwide strike if government fails to address the concerns raised by end of September 2024. Now, we call on all well-meaning Ghanaians to join organized labor and your good self to ensure that this become a thing of the past. My brothers and sisters, this is a call which I believe we have joined quite belatedly, but it's not too late. And we believe strongly that with a very strong, coordinated effort, we shall achieve the objective.
Now, the flag bearer of the opposition, NDC, has also been speaking on what needs to be done to deal with the menace.
Papa. And so, here kukudro. because one, gold is the one holding Ghana now. And because of galamsey, we were 80 tons per year. I feel 135 tons. Additional, be free galamsey. So we must be prepared to sacrifice in the fight against galamsey. Say production will come down. It means that exports will reduce. And then also the issue of employment. Because employment in the Kodani Bebre, galamsey. Into Okutia galamsey, a lot of the young people who currently are surviving with galamsey would also get unemployed. And those are two consequences I'm putting on the table before we start the fight. The risks are worth the effort. The first thing is to make sure forest reserves, mining of forest reserves, make us say forestry commission, almost 37 forest reserves have been, entered into and destroyed. And the first thing is to get them out. Now, start to say then the second thing is yensiono, and it's different people.
But the president has directed the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to take steps to deal with the menace.
So the various regional security councils have been tasked to conduct reconnaissance, scrutiny of their various jurisdictions, and begin to roll out suits and enhance the enforcement regime, the details of which I think we all agree I should withhold for the time being. But in the days and weeks to come, we will see a heightened or ramped up enforcement where we decided that they should use local resources. In other words, the resources at the disposal of the various RESEX, because as you know, the RESEX have police, they have military, they have this, they have that. And the regular law enforcement apparatus of the state, the Ghana Police Service, should be the first port of call. If the need arises, we will take it a step further to the armed forces. If the need arises, we will possibly begin once again the extraordinary measure of decommissioning equipment used for illegal small-scale mining. The Minerals Commission is also to double up its reformative measures.
Now, meanwhile, some small-scale licensed miners are bemoaning how illegal miners have become a threat to legal miners and their communities.
I think you've heard of a lot of things, complaints and other, just because there is a lot of illegal activities going on the concession. As considering this, we forward everything to our hierarchies, and our hierarchies are under control. But yet we are not safe here, because these illegal miners are trying to transport good ore worth of over $10 billion away. And when our task force is being in place to stop them for conveying all these loads, sometimes these people will come along with arms, guns, shooting with cutlasses, machetes, and others, just to control us, to take their ores away. But yet still, the illegal activities is just going on. So now, if you can see, a lot of things going on around our area, as considering all these big pits over here, is being created by these illegal miners. This pit, they've carried all the ore away. So even covering this pit is even difficult. So now, as we are here, we the miners and the people in this community, we are even in danger. For instance, the type of arms, the type of pits, the type of mosquito breeds around, it's even hurting us. So as we speak now, we are still on board with our hierarchies to control this mining activity.
Now, the latest group to add its voice to the calls for a ban on illegal mining is the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and they are demanding the immediate and decisive action from governments to combat galamsey. The group is worried over the spate of infiltration of toxins onto the food which has polluted farmlands, I beg your pardon. Now, water bodies are also facing threats as they are already in a critical state of insecurity. The Academy wants immediate intervention, lest dire implications. You're still watching News Tonight here on GHOne Television, and we are your election hub. On Election Hub this evening, the Electoral Commission has set September 17 to end the filing of the nominations of aspirants. We have the details subsequently, but let's see how you can reach us via social media. Now, the Electoral Commission has set September 17 to determine the fate of both presidential and parliamentary aspirants who have filed to contest in the 2024 general elections. A total of 24 candidates have successfully filed their presidential nominations, comprising 11 political parties and 13 independent aspirants. At the start of the filing process, the EC established 2 committees to scrutinize the nomination forms of the various aspirants. As the filing of nominations closed yesterday, the EC revealed that it is well advanced in vetting the forms received so far. Now, despite what may seem like a successful close of filing of nominations at the Electoral Commission this week, some candidates have described the procedure as cumbersome, while some have complained about associated costs. Others lament the labor-intensive nature of preparing for the nominations.
There is one thing that's almost, I could say that it affected me in a way. That has to do with the task clearance certificate. This time around, I don't know what is actually wrong, or I don't know what has actually gone wrong. I actually went to one GRA office and then I requested for my task clearance certificate. And you know, so far as you are filing for nomination to contest as a member of parliament, when you are requesting for your task clearance certificate, it has nothing to do with your business. Your business is not involved. You are filing with your personality, not your business. So if you are filing with your personality, then you are requesting for that. And they are asking you to pay an amount of 60,000 Ghana cedi or 50,000 Ghana cedis for the last 3 years. Assuming you've not paid any tax for the last 3 years, that is the amount that you're supposed to pay. They are asking for that amount. It's very huge. And that is a challenge that I face alongside in filing my nomination.
To be honest, the requirement is very, very cumbersome. And sometimes you sit back and judge why all these hassle. But I believe the Electoral Commission and people that put this together know exactly what they're looking for. We're talking about essentially a society where people are online applying to be presidential candidates. And then you have yours here where we are queuing, making photocopying of about 800,000 pages just to supply to somebody. Again, this is not the right way to do things. We need to respect time, we need to have value on time, and we need as a country to be able to use the digital technology which has developed various economies around the world to develop our country. And this is what I think is the right thing to do, and I support the Vice President. Although there might be certain applications or systems of implementation that I would not embrace. However, the idea that Ghana has reached a stage in our economy or in our lifestyle as a country to move into digitization is so overdue.
Let's go over the phone lines now and have a conversation with a governance expert, Dr. Frederick Oduro. Doc, thank you very much for your time. First of all, let me find out from you, what are your thoughts concerning concerns raised by some aspirants about the cumbersome nature of the filing process?
Well, I think I do agree that it can be improved. However, we can begin to look at doing some of these things online to shorten the process.
Okay.
But we know our own people. As soon as we start that process, somebody is going to claim, oh, my area, the network is poor, there is this challenge, there is that challenge. Secondly, after instance, we failed to include that process in the legal regime regulating our electoral process. So if at this stage you even want to introduce it, I think it's late in the day to attempt doing that. But let us go ahead and see the feasibility of implementing it maybe in our next election.
Right.
Perhaps the next major election that will come would be the district level election.
Right.
Let us consider creating an avenue for people to try to file online. And if it works, maybe we can also adapt it for our parliamentary and presidential election.
Right. Doc, would you say that over the period we've had issues like forgery of signatures and whatnot, would you say that the cumbersome nature of the filing process has contributed to some of these issues?
Well, that is what we say we want. And then we need to verify what somebody has said. And if when we decide to go electronic in such a process, I'm even asking myself, can somebody forge some of these things? These are critical things we need to consider before we adopt it. But it is worth having a good look at using an electronic system to file for such elections.
Okay.
So I am all in favor of going ahead with it. But I don't think for this election it is late in the day.
Okay. But how difficult will it be moving from the current system to a digital system?
There are some interferences. Can we come again?
I beg your pardon. I was saying that how difficult will it be to move from the current system to a digital system?
Well, I don't. If there is a will, if we really want to do it, there should definitely be a way for doing it.
Okay.
The point is starting on time. If we want to adopt it for the next election, as soon as we complete with this election, I think we must put in place the processes, the systems that can enable us, go through that process. But we shouldn't wait late in the day.
Okay.
The next election is, going to be, God willing, in 2028. We shouldn't wait in, say, January, February, March 2028 before we start talking about such changes. We should begin to talk about it right after this election so that we can put in place all the necessary systems and procedures to enable us adopt it for the next general election.
Right.
Beyond the current one.
Okay. Doc, thank you very much for your time this evening. I've been engaging a governance expert, Dr. Frederick Oduro, on this development. Now, the parliamentary candidate for the Afadjato South constituency, Frank Efriye, is urging constituents to trust in the National Democratic Congress and its flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, to deliver development in that area. According to him, the almost 8 years of the Nanado-led administration has deprived the area of any meaningful development. He believes a combination of himself and John Mahama will turn things around and reset the constituency onto the path of progress. He spoke to the media after successfully filing his nomination.
The current state of affairs is such that we need someone with an established contact, someone with an extraordinary track record, someone who will not come to test drive with the position. We do not need any mate or any apprentice. We need an established, experienced driver with a credible license. And I have worked in the office of the president. I have worked with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and every important person in the party and even beyond. And so I think that now more than ever, we need somebody with network, somebody with connection, somebody with a humble but fighting spirit to bring what the youth need, to bring what the women need, to bring what the farmers need, to bring what the artisans need, the bread baker, the kinky sellers, the drivers, the Okada people. All they are yearning for is that relief that has been missing in the past 8 years. Indeed, for the past 8 years, we have not benefited any meaningful development under Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration. And we cannot extend this misery. We must go forward, reset, and put the constituency on the path of progress.
Now, a dark political cloud looms over the Ofutu constituency as fierce rivalry between the opposition NDC and the ruling NPP intensifies. The removal of the NDC billboards has fueled tensions between the two parties, with the NDC threatening to retaliate in kind, heightening fears of potential clashes in the lead-up to the upcoming polls. The Ofutu constituency has long been a battleground for fierce political rivalry between the NDC and the NPP. In recent years, tensions have heightened as both parties clash over various issues, including the alleged removal of the opposition's billboards. Since the 2020 election season, the ruling NPP has reportedly taken down over 400 legally erected billboards belonging to the NDC. While some cases are still pending in court, the rivalry has flared again, with the NPP allegedly cutting down another billboard of the NDC candidate on Thursday, September 12. This latest incident has infuriated NDC supporters, prompting a retaliatory act in which they brought down one of the NPP's billboards.
I have the necessary documents covering all of my billboards. It was actually the assembly officials themselves who pointed to where I should even place the billboards. And now we are heading to election less than 3 months, so they came to put down yesterday. The sentiment in town is that if they cut one billboard of mine, they will have one billboard of theirs cut down. So it will be good for good. That's what I am seeing now.
In addition to the billboard war, James Kofi Annan criticized the deep political influence over the University of Education, stating that it is hampering the university's progress. He made this assertion during a meeting with senior lecturers and other staff at the University of Winneba, where he outlined his policies and sought their votes.
I've been able to demonstrate to them that I'm a competent person and that if they should vote for me, I'll be able to lead the constituency. One important aspect of my presentation was to assure them that I will not engage in interference of the university.
He also reflected on the university's troubled past, notably the ousting of Vice-Chancellor, which led to mass student protests and campus unrest. Annan called for a depoliticization of top appointments within the University of Winneba, promising to champion reforms if elected. Meanwhile, senior lecturers at the university have vowed to resist any attempt to intimidate students and staff during this year's elections, referencing incidents of military personnel brutalizing both students and lecturers in 2020. And on that note, we end Election Hub here on News Tonight. You're still watching News Tonight here on GHOne Television. Let's do business now. In business this evening, media titan and business mogul Nathan Kwabena Anochie has launched the second cohort of his impactful entrepreneurship program, Entrepreneurship with Bolare. Now, the 3-month coaching and mentoring program aims to transfer knowledge, experience, and nurture the ideas of young entrepreneurs to scale up.
And beyond through the media. Nathan Kwabena Anochie, also known as Bolare, instituted Entrepreneurship with Bolare to nurture budding entrepreneurs. Speaking at the launch, he underscored that every individual, regardless of their background, has the potential to make a difference in society.
The time for Africa is now. The future is now. This second cohort is poised to be even more impactful with a broadened scope and deeper resources. And I must say, we'll play the video of our mentors and you get to see the mentors that we've assembled. I must say, it's mind-blowing. I thank all of you for agreeing to be mentors. To our mentees, I have a special message for you. Yes, in cohort 1, we learned from experiences, refined our curriculum we have, and we strengthened our partnerships to provide an even more enriching platform for growth and development.
Delivering the keynote address, the head of UNESCO's Ghana office, His Excellency Edmond Mukala, praised Bolare for his bold step and urged like-minded individuals to join hands as the program serves as a catalyst for economic growth on the African continent.
This collaborative approach will guarantee that we optimize the effectiveness of our endeavor and establish an environment that is conducive to the growth of entrepreneurship. In summary, we should recognize the transformative potential of entrepreneurship. We are not only promoting economic development, but also establishing a more equitable and prosperous future for all by investing in our entrepreneurs and cultivating a supportive ecosystem. Reading about the founder, Bolare, whom I had the privilege of receiving in my office, very humble man. You know, when you see him and you talk to him, but when you see what he has done, you almost become like, wow.
President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jomfo, described the program as a mechanism for resolving the unemployment canker in the country and therefore must be given the needed attention.
Entrepreneurship is crucial for what? For job creation. And I think, so our brother here, considering the first cohort and the second cohort, brother, you are really creating job, and we commend you. Goodness. It's also very crucial for economic growth, because as entrepreneurs, they pay taxes, and as we all know, because our taxes, what we use in growing the economy, in building the state we are all living in. Entrepreneurs generate wealth, they improve their own lives and those of their employees. We should let this actually encourage us, this initiative by our very own brother, at least quicken us, some of us, to impact. There are a lot in us. There's a lot we can do.
Some of the 15 mentees in the new cohort share their expectations.
As young entrepreneur and someone who wants to establish my own business, I need mentorship that can help me to know the risks in starting a business, the challenges in starting a business, and also what are some of the things I should do and not to do to have a solid business.
We train young adults in acquiring skills in cake baking, sugar craft, etc. And at this point in time, we don't just want to just train the people, but we also want to be able to give them basic equipment like ovens and things to be able to start their business. And so being part of this mentorship program, I know that it's going to give us that platform that we need to be able to do all the things that we want to do to empower the next generation.
Every business needs funding and every business needs money. So we getting funding will help elevate our business into another level. And also we want to impact the next society to get more business and also employ more youth into our business. So this is why we actually applied for this program, to get more mentorship and also knowledge from Bolare and also our mentors.
The launch was attended by dignitaries, management of the EIB network, and will include mentors such as diplomats Anne-Sophie Ave, Dr. James Olins Lindsay, and entrepreneur Claudia Lumo, among others.
Now, waste management providers have been urged to employ sustainable cutting-edge technology to improve sanitation in the country during the signing ceremony of a €150 million contract between Ghana and Austria. Stakeholders said the partnership will enhance the export of waste management services and equipment to other countries, promoting sustainable waste management practices and contributing to a cleaner environment in Africa.
The signing ceremony, which was attended by the Foreign Affairs Minister of Austria, comes on the back of a successful completion and delivery of a top-tier waste management recycling plant in Ghana and marking the official opening of the Austrian embassy in Ghana. According to the Chief Executive Officer of the Austrian firm specializing in green technologies and sustainable solutions, Markus Mehofer, the contract is expected to leverage the strengths of both countries, combining Zoomlion's expertise in waste collection and management with FEMA Industries' innovative technology and global reach.
Zoomlion Ghana Limited has made itself being the biggest waste recycling company in whole Africa. And now the Lagos government is going to Zoomlion Ghana Limited, asking the brothers in Ghana, Zoomlion, with all their knowledge and experience, coming over to Nigeria, solving the waste issues there, because here in Ghana already they made a lot of game-changer projects.
Although the recovery of recycled materials has improved, Director of FEMA Africa, Ejabio Awono, said waste management organizations in the country must catch up with technologies and expertise in waste management and treatment services to help improve the circularity in the environmental waste management space.
I think we've made significant strides. I mean, prior to 2018, we had technology coming from Asia that was being used, which unfortunately, Europe is at least 20 years ahead of the curve in waste management and treatment services. What we have noticed is that recovery of recyclable materials has improved. The quality of life in the country, because from a health perspective, we have fewer outbreaks of cholera and typhoid, which are health-related issues related to waste management services. We've seen the extension of some of these landfill sites because we have better technologies to manage waste going in.
The waste management financing agreement is part of a 150 million euros project, which is expected to strengthen the diplomatic ties between Ghana and Austria.
And that wraps up business here on News Tonight. We'll be right back. You're welcome back from that break. This is still News Tonight on GHOne Television, and I am Tutuwaa Danso. Now, the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, has reassured Ghanaian students aspiring to study abroad that their visa applications will be processed promptly and they need not fear rejections. Speaking at a U.S. college fair organized by the U.S. Embassy in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, she emphasized efforts to facilitate the visa process for students are underway.
Addressing the media on the sidelines of the college fair, Ambassador Palmer said the embassy has employed additional staff to help clear the backlog of pending applications, ensuring smoother and quicker processing for students.
We have increased the staff at the embassy doing visa work by more than 50%. And when our deputy secretary was here, he committed to trying to get more staff here for help us address the backlog. We really want Ghanaian visitors and Ghanaian students especially to come to the United States. So we're working to address the backlog, and I kind of want to demystify that process for Ghanaian students. They needn't be afraid of it.
Ghana's Minister of Education, Dr. Yaosei Educhum, who was also at the event, stressed that the United States remains one of the top destinations for higher education. He encouraged high school students to apply to multiple universities to maximize their chances of admission.
Explore scholarship applications and apply to as many foundations that offer scholarships as possible. So even if your parents can afford, you can get more resources to relieve them of the burden of our United States education in terms of cost. But America is one of the greatest nations to have higher education in. They will challenge you. They will make you a critical thinker. And I hope that they will come back to Ghana after the education to contribute their quota toward the transformation of the country.
Let's do sports now. Now, Africa's sole boxing medalist at the Tokyo Olympics, Samuel Techi, teamed up with Emmanuel Noy-Mensah to bring new hope to Ghana boxing. The Quebec Promotions second quarterly event delivers a thrilling display of world-class talent at the GHOne Event Center. Now, it marks Techi's return to professional boxing after an unsuccessful bid to qualify for the recently held Olympics.
The event featured 16 promising young boxers competing for supremacy in front of an energized crowd at Danso. In the spotlight, Techi faced off in a 6-round lightweight contest against the seasoned Emmanuel Noy-Mensah. The two fighters showcased remarkable skills, exchanging powerful punches and jabs that kept the audience on the edge of their seats. Techi began to dominate in the second round, landing a barrage of punches that left Noy-Mensah reeling, though he fought back to maintain his ground. By round 3, Noy found himself cornered on the ropes, struggling to withstand Techi's relentless attacks. As the fourth round was set to begin, Noy-Mensah's team threw in the towel, conceding defeat after an intense battle. Samuel Techi issued a bold challenge to local contenders, vowing to revive Ghana's world boxing prominence.
Let's do GHOne now. On GHOne this evening, the Director for Tourism at the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Jeffrey Tamaklo, says promoting Ghanaian internationally will boost tourism and bring attention to Ghana on the global stage.
Yes, the issue of digitalization has actually caught up with us. You can't promote tourism without it. In today's world, we call that armchair tourism. You sit in the comfort of your home and you want to see places. And it's another way, an innovative way of adding up to the revenues. You know, some people have a phobia of traveling. So that is how you can get that segment of the experience to them and also make some returns from it. So digitalization, we can't let go of it at all. It's rather made our presence felt globally. Previously, when you talk about Ghana, people thought this is a small country in the Caribbean, Guyana. But today, because through the global world website, we're able to project ourselves out there so easily. And through other events such as this and international tournaments and stuff like that. So we can't do away with digitalization in this time.
Let's do international now. Olympic marathon runner Rebecca Cheptegei, who was set ablaze by her former boyfriend and later died, has been buried in her father's homestead in eastern Uganda. As she was also a member of the Uganda's armed forces, soldiers carried her coffin and she was given a 3-volley salute. Dixon Ndiema attacked Cheptegei with petrol just under a fortnight ago outside her home in neighboring northwest Kenya, close to where she trained. The 33-year-old's killing and its brutal nature left her family distraught and shocked many across the world. It underscored the high levels of violence against women in Kenya and the fact that several female athletes have been victims in recent years. Among those are the somber and emotional funeral ceremony in a school field in Buko, Cheptege's home district, where fellow athletes wearing black t-shirts with a slogan saying, "Say no to gender-based violence." Cheptege and Ndiema had reportedly been wrangling over a piece of land. Cheptege and Ndiema had reportedly been wrangling over a piece of land, and she's been buried finally. Well, that wraps up this edition of News Tonight here on GH1 TV. For more news updates, log on to starfm.com.gh. The next news update is 6 a.m. on Monday. I am Tutuwaa Danso. Thank you very much for your time.